Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and what is going on? How you doing? This is a very, very late night review. This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I'm recording this at almost midnight on Thursday evening. I apologize, but I didn't get to do my Raw and probably won't be doing my SmackDown reviews live this week. Honestly, I have been very thrown off this week between the tide change. And it's the fact that I've just had a busy week. It's just been one of those weeks where I kind of just need to just lay back and chill, but also kind of just like get other things regrouping around here. I have just been very focused on the channel in my spare time, especially since now I'm only 3 subscribers away from 2,000 as of recording this, and I just have a lot that I want to catch up on. So because I have a ton I want to catch up on and a ton I'm trying to keep a good flow with, I'm taking a break from live streams this week. I'm just going to do uploads. So that's what this video is going to be, an upload of my Raw review from this past Monday night, which was again March 11th, 2024. And it took place at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. Personally, I really enjoyed this episode of Raw. I feel like I enjoy it because not only did we finally get some storylines advancing, although there was kind of like a little bit of a, shouldn't say controversial, but a lot of fans aren't really happy about that ending to that Gauntlet match. We will address that as well when we get to it. But what really stood out to me about this show is, besides the fact that the normal feuds did get somewhat of a progression in this episode of Raw, it also felt like that there was a bunch of them that kind of took a back seat, like the big main stories, and let like some other people shine on the show. I thought we had a couple really good women's moments, where if it was a like segment or if it was a couple of good matches we got on the show. I thought the Gauntlet match, despite the finish, I thought was really good. They gave a lot of time, of course, to people I felt like who needed the time for sure. I felt Liv Morgan had a very eye-catching performance as well. Again, the women's tag title match I thought was good. Nothing really that I disliked on this show. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to get out of here and keep rolling on from there. So the show opened up with Drew McIntyre coming out. And, of course, he's following up from Seth Rollins accepting the WrestleMania challenge from The Rock for him and Cody to tag against the Bloodlines, Roman Reigns and The Rock, on night 1 of WrestleMania. Drew calls him out for it and tells him, he talks about the bigger picture, too loud CM Punk chants. He says the bigger picture, though, is The Rock, and hear him out. Think about the history of our industry, from carnivals to armories to sold-out stadiums. What is the next evolution? Working together with one of the most powerful people on the planet, and he's going to win the title and be a champion you can invest in and be proud of. Seth Rollins comes out, of course, after that and says WrestleMania is in the bag. He's been thinking about how Drew almost has his full attention. So maybe one Claymore kick can get it all. Right here, right now. He asked Drew what's under his kilt. and he kneels in front of him for remembering that Drew's a coward, and he turns his back on the huge Scott. Drew says he just wants Seth to actually hear him for once. Tells him he was right. Rollins told him before their last match he's got to get over the bloodline. Seth says Drew is reminding him of someone with a lot of tattoos and from Chicago, and he's basically compared him to what he thinks of CM Punk. And then, of course, he didn't remember. He let the crowd, fill him in on that. He says he used to think Punk was the biggest hypocrite until he met Drew, who does all this whining and crying about the bloodline. But now it's like he's trying to be an honorary member. And he made his case by pointing out all the times recently that Drew has gotten help from them. Seth lays it out. Night 1, him and Cody are taking the bloodline down. Night 2, it's just the two of them, one-on-one. But the same thing will always happen. He'll stomp Drew's head into the mat, put his shoulders, and the last thing he's going to hear is people sing his song. Drew says he's not going to swing on him before Mania, and nothing he can say will provoke him. As he goes to leave, though, Seth basically tells him that Drew is the very last thing he's thinking of right now. And, of course, Drew, of course, charges back, was about to attack, but then he instead backs off, stops himself short, and he leaves. But, of course, he's stressed out by the effort, of course, as well. Good promo. Again, I do appreciate the fact that, at this point, it's kind of like getting in Seth's head, you're viewing the bloodline stuff more important than me. Meanwhile, we do have Cody Rhodes obviously addressing that him and Seth Rollins have history. There's unfinished business, as Cody's beaten Seth 3 times since his return. Pretty sure it might still be bothering Seth. And of course, even though this was mentioned later on in the promo we had with Michael Cole, I'm pretty sure that at some point, Seth's going to want to snap. Could it maybe be at WrestleMania, though? We'll have to wait and see. We got Becky Lynch having a match against Liv Morgan. I remember when Becky was a champion last time. Well, for the Raw Women's Champion. And her and Liv had that feud around the beginning of 2022. And I remember everybody thought, okay, the matches are fine, they're good, but at the time, Liv Morgan just didn't have really much of a direction for her. When it actually does, she has a story. I thought this was definitely a fantastic match. It was definitely a match that showed that Liv could definitely hang with someone like Becky or someone else in the main event scene. Like I said, I still think that even though they developed kind of another storyline for Becky for this match with Rhea, I still think this is them trying to build up Liv to eventually be the one to dethrone Rhea, as I believe they should. But this was definitely one of Liv's best matches, and I think she's really been hitting her stride since she came back from injury. Becky, though, does win with the manhandle slam. She does give Liv a nod. Rhea, though, comes out and gets in the ring with Becky and congratulates Becky on beating Liv Morgan. Asks if it was worth it, because every week she's getting into these fights, leaving everything in the ring. And every single week we get closer to WrestleMania. Deep down, Becky knows that Rhea is better than her. So she accepts all the matches so she has an excuse as to why she won't be able to beat her at WrestleMania. If she loses, she won't be the man. She'll be nothing but a disappointment. Becky says when people believe in her, she's good. But when people doubt her, she's even better. And if it's her against the world don't stand a chance. Which later, Becky and Liv had a backstage where they kind of shook hands on it and whatnot. And then Nia Jax attacked her. And then I guess they're set up for a last woman standing match on Raw this coming week between Nia and Becky. Which sounds good to me. That'd be a good match. Of course, so people are saying, though, if they are basically doing this thing of Becky Lynch versus the world, though, you think they would still have Becky win? I mean, again, I love Becky, but I still don't think she's the one to dethrone Rhea. I still think it should be Liv, but you never know. But we'll see what happens there, but it's definitely looking forward to that match, and glad to see it staying one-on-one. Both general managers, though, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, have a big announcement that the tag titles will be defended in a 6-pack ladder match at WrestleMania. Whoa, which sounds freaking awesome. Of course, over the next few weeks, they will have teams compete to win spots in the match, which I'm pretty sure will give people like Imperium, DIY, Awesome Truth, New Catch Republic, and I don't know who else is going to be from SmackDown, but probably Pretty Deadly. God, I hope not. Please, no, don't do that. Judgment Day, of course, are not happy about this, and they want to go talk to Adam Pearce about it. Then we had this interesting thing. He's doing DIY. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell took on a team of Ivy Nile and Maxxine Dupri. Not too much offense happened in the match, but because towards the beginning, we had Maxxine Dupri come in, and we all remember that Maxxine Dupri recently got booed at a house show because, you know, she's still green, she's still learning, but of course give her time. But she does her backwards worm, and Candice, though, gets right in the way. Now, last week, they already kind of teased an attitude change in Candice. She went out and basically solidified this, but also tried to make attention for her to be the female Christian Cage of the women's industry. Because she gets in Maxine's face and says she looks stupid, and people are booing her because she doesn't belong here. And if she thinks the internet hates her, she should hear what the girls in the locker room say. And she also says something about Maxine's deceased brother as well. And Maxxine just started bawling. But then, of course, based off of, you know, Maxxine being all like distressed and just hurt by what Candice just said, Candice has Indy Hartwell take advantage. And Indy Hartwell hits her with a big boot. And they knock Ivy Nile off the apron. And that's how they win. That was savage by Candice LeRae, but I liked it. I liked it because, again, I'll save most of this for the Turn Alert. But although Candice is a good wrestler, I do feel like her as a babyface, she hasn't really been able to establish too much of an interesting character. Now, as a heel, though, we'll talk about that when we get to the Turn Alert. But yes, that was definitely... I really like that. Again, it you know, they're rolling with the heat for Maxxine Dupri's wrestling to, you know, help her get more sympathy behind her, but using like a veteran like Candice LeRae to take advantage and, you know, just literally bully her. Like, it's the simple little continuity things that just make me excited, which is, again, what I appreciate about the show is there was a lot of continuity in it as well. Cody Rhodes. Well, first we have Judgment Day confronting Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. They're upset about the vendor titles in the ladder match. And Finn Balor says everyone knows he doesn't like ladders. Damian says they're already proven they're the best and demand to know whose idea this was. Finn also complains that no one listens to his ideas, and Adam Pearce admits they got the idea from Miz and Truth. Priest wants a match with them, but Pearce says they're doing media. But then Truth rolls up, and they set up for a match with Damian Priest and R-Truth. So then we have Cody having a sit-down interview with Michael Cole, and this is a very passionate interview. Michael, of course, actually asked Cody what he wanted to talk about. And Cole wants to know, why did he slap The Rock? And Cody says he's not sure The Rock is actually his boss. But if he is, it feels good to slap your boss. And The Rock knows exactly what that slap was. It was a receipt. And Cole says, why did you and Seth accept the tag match, given that Seth has made it clear he wants to be the most important champion in WWE? And how can you trust him based off your history? Which is an excellent question. Cody says people change their minds, Michael, about the coal mine. He says he went off in the distance and smashed the throne, and now the man sitting on that throne has become his closest ally in the business. Seth has always had his respect, and he will happily go to war with him because this is the one shot at getting a fair fight for night 2. He wants to answer a question Michael Cole asked him the last time they were in this ring together months ago when him and Jay were a tag team, about whether or not the repeated failure will be his story. And he says that's a good question. Another good question is he nervous? And he is. And he can't say he'll get Roman next year because he's already said that. But now the story isn't just about him and Roman the title. It's about all of us that followed us to the ends of the earth. About a young blind girl who came here to cheer for him. His friend had just had spinal surgery and wanted the weight belt the sister Rock didn't mention who rode shotgun with his dad. Or his mother. The only one he claims he's got left. He got emotional here. He may not be able to take the title to Dusty, but he can sure take it to Michelle Rubio. And of course he breaks down the tears and the crowd chants for him as he continues saying his number one fan is his wife, Brandi Rhodes, the most beautiful woman on earth, who took a chance on him when he was wearing a goofy mask and taking RKOs every night. Again, shooting on his past and how low he was. The story is behind him, but it's up to him. And he speaks directly to Roman. Last year, Roman said they were in the third inning. Now he claims they're in the final inning. And he's glad they got this ball because at WrestleMania, Michael Cole will get to say for the first time that Cody Rhodes is WWE champion. He'll get to say that Cody Rhodes finished the story, which I thought was a very nice, passionate promo there. We had some highlights and the video package for participants in the Gauntlet match. Becky, this is where we had the thing with Becky, Liv, and Nia, and setting up the last one standing match. We also had a women's tag title match with the Kabuki Warriors versus Zoey Stark and Shayna Baszler. Again, it was actually a pretty good match. Zoey and Shayna are really gelling together, I feel like, as a tag team. Zoey especially, I thought was the biggest star in the match. There was a few times where they teased Shayna getting that cheap roll-up pin on her, which I cannot stand. But eventually the Kabuki Warriors do get the pinfall with an inverted DDT diving elbow drop on Shayna. So that actually was good. I don't know if that means they're going to somehow get them another tag title shot at Mania, but we will have to wait and see. Especially, of course, as we have Candice LeRae now being nasty. Oh my gosh, she's being the female Christian Cage. Instead of saying your father's dead, she's now telling everybody that your brother's dead. But Andrade was backstage meeting up with Judgment Day. He reveals that Dominic wanted to talk with him, but Dominic was there, so he was on his honeymoon, so he says he will come back another time. We do have Damian Priest versus R-Truth. It was a fun match as well. We got some outside interference, though, and Damian Priest does win with the South of Heaven. And then the Judgment Day run rough shot on the baby faces. Obviously, again, them being in moods because they have to defend titles in a ladder match, but again, it will be freaking awesome. Jey Uso came out. He basically addressed the show and addressed, his brother and challenged Jimmy to the match. That's basically all he basically said. We also got announced that Muhammad Ali is going to be added to the 2024 class of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024, which is awesome. And then in the main event, it was a gauntlet match between Big Bronson Reed, Chad Gable, JD McDonough, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Sami Zayn. Great match. They definitely gave some people who could use a little more time. Like, they gave Ricochet and JD McDonough like a good, maybe 10, 15 minutes in the match, which is always freaking good. But Ricochet eliminated him. Bronson Reed then eliminated Ricochet with the Tsunami. And then Sami Zayn made his way in the match. And off the counter, he eliminated Bronson Reed. Which Bronson, of course, wasn't happy. And he beat down Sami before Shinsuke Nakamura came in. And look, he was just about to slip past Sami. But then Sami held on by getting out of the way. And he got lucky and eliminated Shinsuke Nakamura. Then we have Chad Gable. And they had a nice back and forth. Don't get me wrong. But the fact they just did not pull the trigger on Chad Gable just still baffles me. I mean, nothing against Sami. And I don't want Sami Zayn to kind of get the hate treatment, basically, if you know what I mean. I don't want that to happen to Sami Zayn. I really don't. But, I still think Chad Gable was the right one to win. I think what happened was, I really think originally Sami was supposed to face Drew, as they were teasing. But with CM Punk getting hurt, they had to kind of like shuffle some things around. Because also, keep this in mind too, Chad Gable, either way, was not their original opponent. The person that they originally were going to have Gunther face at WrestleMania until he got questioned from that scandal thing involving Vince, is he was supposed to face Gunther for the IC title. So there was never really any plans to put Gable in the match anyways, but yeah, I feel like that was kind of like a missed opportunity there. But Sami, puts him over sure to, keep him energetic, but, still wish would have been Gable, but we'll see, because there's a picture floating around showing that that Gable's shoulders were up. So there's a chance he may be able to weasel his way back in. We'll have to wait and see. But that's going to do it, guys. That's my Raw review. Honestly, I gave the show a B+. Like I said, I really like the fact that they had a lot of newer faces get a little more of a spotlight on the show. So that was very well appreciated, in my opinion. But guys, that's it. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I gave it a Raw B-. What are your guys' thoughts on Raw? Make sure you go thoughts down in the comment section below. And also be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to come on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm tired. I'm checking out, and I'll catch you guys all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah.